What up? It's the Autonomy Coach AB. Mental health is true wealth. Please like, subscribe, comment, share. I picked this particular topic today because I don't want people to think that this page is strictly about relationships, because it's not. This page was designed with the concept of improving self. So there's going to be many different topics that I'll address. Just stay tuned for them. But today's topic is grief. And I picked that topic because as I scroll down my timeline, one after another, I noticed people were going through a loss. So before we even get into the topic today, I want to send my condolence out to everyone who has lost someone. It's a painful experience. It's one that you're not even really able to understand, but you're hurt. So I want to send my condolences. And whether the loss is old or it's new, you're still grieving. And my condolences to you and the family. So let's go ahead and get into the topic, grief. As humans, one of the most powerful emotions we will ever experience is grief. Grief is a deep sorrow that is caused by the death of someone. When you lose that special someone, holidays, they'll never be the same. Birthdays, they'll never be the same. Getting married and not having that person in the crowd. Graduating, not having that person in the crowd. All the major moments of your life can feel empty. Deathing is something that's inevitable. We all have a set appointment. And it most often leaves the individuals that are left behind feeling lost, confused, and angry. You'll go through an array of feelings while you're trying to process grief. Grief is a learning experience. I know it's hard to believe, but it truly is a learning experience. A learning experience that's, let's be honest, it's not pleasant. Seeing other people with what you miss can create resentment. It can create jealousy. It can create envy. It can create despise. Because you miss this person and you see someone else with the one thing that you want the most. Processing grief is difficult. Processing grief with extreme circumstances makes it even more difficult. Losing a loved one to gun violence is sudden. You weren't prepared for that. Even though I don't think there's actually a way for you to prepare to lose someone. But it's sudden. Losing a child to a drunk driver. These are things that are sudden. We wake up and we find ourselves thrown into a position where now we're grieving. And this person is no longer going to walk through that door. They're not going to pick up the phone and call you anymore. You can't go over their house and laugh. You can't meet up for a dinner date. It's all gone. We feel robbed. When you lose someone, you feel robbed. Our brain processes we and I as the same. This is why you hear people state, I feel like I lost a piece of me. And it's because you did. You lost a part of you. Your brain is trying to wrap its mind around the concept of this loss. Grief is not something you can sweep under the rug. Lord knows we try to sweep stuff under the rug. But you can't do that. Grief is not something that you can just stuff inside you. I'm just going to swallow this. You can't do that. You must go through it in order to process your feelings. So you can't go under it. You can't go over it. You can't go through the side of it, around it. You just have to face it head on and go through it. When we don't process that feeling, we start to find ourselves with some of the most self-destructing behavior to assist us with coping with this issue. So you're going to see people get on drugs. You're going to see people start binge drinking. You're going to see people cutting. You're going to see various self-destructing behaviors because their normal everyday coping mechanisms has no clue what to do with this. One significant reason we struggle with coping is how we internalize the event. We end up making the person's entire life about their death. And that just makes it even harder to digest. We remember the loss instead of the good times that we had with them. We remember that they weren't there at our high school graduation. But you don't remember all the late nights y'all stayed up laughing and just kicking it. We remember, I forgot to tell them I love them that morning and they died. I remember I forgot to tell them I'm sorry after we got into that argument. You're going to have guilt, shame, disappointment. You may feel like you disappointed this person. But sometimes our mind can make us think things that are not rational. Sometimes our mind can be our worst enemy. We have to remember to pivot our thought process. One, realize how you feel might not be the reality. You didn't say I love you this morning, but they knew you loved them. If they can have one more conversation with you, do you really think they would reinforce all the negative thoughts that you internalize about their death? Or do you think they would just be happy to see you? Would they tell you, I'm proud of you? Second, remember the great times that you shared with them. Don't break their entire life down to a tidbit. That's like watching the trailer and thinking you know in the whole movie. Don't let their memory be their death. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to say you need help. It's okay to have a therapist or a coach. Find what you need. You may never, ever, ever fill that void, but you'll find peace with it. Grief is a process. And you have to go through the process.